cannot chase you, I cannot fly, I cannot make you. You make up your mind. You want me to prove it to you, to see what I lose. If I cannot find you up in the dust.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I'm going to be going over how to get a super precise cut crease on hooded lids. So I do have hooded eyes and it can be a little difficult to do more intricate eyeshadow looks with cut creases on hooded lids because you have extra skin and it's just hard to get that crisp line. It's taken me a while to learn how to do this on my eyes, and everyone's eyes are different. I envy the girls that all this lid space and could just easily do a cut crease. But with hooded lids, it does take a little bit longer and it is a little bit harder. So in today's video, I just kind of show you guys some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way that help me get that super precise cut crease look that you see all over Instagram. So if you want to see how to achieve this look, then just keep watching. Alright, so we're gonna get started. I zoomed you guys in a lot, so we're getting real here. You can see pretty much all of my pores and yeah, not cute. But I wanted you guys to be really close and I wanted the detail. And I wanted you guys to really see the detail. So I did start the process of filling in my brows, but I did not finish. I just did little brow strokes with a brow pen, but later I'll go in with more of like a powder or pencil to really fill them in a little bit more. But okay, so the first step, we're gonna use the Urban Decay Primer Potion in the color Eden. This is a must. You're gonna wanna use a really good primer. If it's not this one, just make sure it's something that really works well because hooded lids do crease, so you want to make sure that eyeshadow stays intact. And I'm bringing the primer pretty far out just because we are going to be bringing our eyeshadow far out as well. Okay, so as you guys can see, my lid really does get covered by that hood there. So when we start creating the cut crease, we're gonna wanna keep it pretty high up. Don't be afraid to get high up towards the brow. You do not want to apply it right where it creases because then you're not gonna see it. So you wanna start off really high. So I'm gonna be using today, so the palette that I'm using is the Huda Beauty Sapphire Obsessions palette. This is what it looks like. And we're gonna actually just stick with this palette. I don't think we're gonna use any other shadows today. But we're gonna start off with the darkest blue right here. Okay, so I'm gonna look straight ahead and I'm gonna start by just pressing that shadow right into the crease. Well, we're creating a crease, so we're gonna call it our fake crease. So I'm just gonna start by mapping out, basically I'm just mapping out the shape that I want. I'm bringing it pretty far in. And I am using a pencil brush. This is by the brand xoxo Beauty. I always have these brushes linked down below and I do have a coupon code with them. The reason why I'm using a pencil brush and not your traditional like fluffy brush is because we really want to be concentrated with where we're putting this product. Since hooded eyes are typically a little bit smaller, you want to be more precise with your placement with your shadow. Otherwise, if you use too big of a brush, it's just going to go all over the place and get really messy. So the pencil brush allows me to kind of control the placement of the shadow. So now that we have like that like half moon shape, now I'm gonna wing it out a little bit because we are doing a cut crease all the way through. So we want that winged shape.
To see what I lose. If I cannot find you up in the dust. If I stand here waiting, would you think I must stay here for days? Losing my way.
Okay, now that we have the shape down like that, I'm gonna go ahead with a fluffy brush like this one. This is by Japanesque, Or you can use this one by Morphe. This is the brush M506. This is a great little small blending brush. So I'm actually going to use this one. And I'm going to take this color right here, which is that more royal blue. And we're going to start blending out that dark blue. Now again, always keeping it above that crease. So you can see, here's where it creases, right here. And the eyeshadow is pretty far above that. Oh, I just got blue eyeshadow on my brow bone. But I know it seems crazy while you're doing it, but it all makes sense in the end. So I'm just gonna take this brush and in little circular motions, I'm just going to start blending out that blue color.
There's really no point in waiting for someone who's not gonna change. Yeah, I guess you're right. Should I just end it?
2, 3. I cannot chase you, I cannot fly, I cannot make you, you make up your mind. You want me to prove it to you.
So I'm going back in with the darker blue just to kind of reinforce it in this area, just because by blending it kind of faded away just a little bit. So it's important to have a light hand with the brush, so always have your hand at the very back of the brush because you're going to have less pressure that way. Then we're going to go in with this color here. This is just a nice bright teal color, so we're going to use that color to really blend upwards. Okay, so I know it's looking crazy, but I promise it's all gonna make sense very soon. So the next step is actually like the key to this look. And typically you would go in and want to just start cutting the crease with a concealer or like the P. Louise base or something like that. But first you're actually going to want to clean off this area and get it back to like your bare skin. That's what's gonna allow you to get that really crisp cut crease. So for that, I use Inglot Duraline. This is what it looks like. It is meant to make eyeliners very creamy again, like gel liners, but we're gonna use this to clean up the cut crease. So I'm just gonna put some on a palette. You're going to want to make sure you have a small little concealer brush like this or any type of flat brush, and also a pointed Q-tip nearby because you're gonna need this to wipe away. So what you're gonna wanna do is load up the brush with the Duraline and make sure it's very flat. Then you're going to basically place the Duraline where you want to clean off. So I'm gonna do it in the shape of the cut crease. And since this is a very emollient product, it's going to kind of break down that makeup. So you can see it's already cleaning everything off. So I'm just gonna work on the front half of my eye and then I'll worry about the second half in a little bit. I'm also gonna make sure the Q-tip has some Duraline on it as well. And I'm gonna start cleaning up the crease. Okay, now that I cleaned off that area, you can see it's already looking so much more crisp and clean. We're going to go ahead and cut the crease. I actually feel like I could have brought this up a little bit higher. Aside from this just acting as a nice guide and giving you a guide for actually where you want to place the product that you cut the crease with, it also just prevents the product that you're going to cut the crease with from being too cakey on top of all the other layers of shadow and primer that we had down. So that's why it's good to clean off the lid. So I went ahead, cleaned off my brush, and now I'm going to be applying the P. Louise blank canvas. This is amazing for cutting the crease because it is a pretty thick consistency, so you have a little bit more control over it than you would with something more loose and watery. And it's also very pigmented, so a little bit goes a long way. And again, just kind of pack it on there and make it so that it's super flat and there's a lot of product on there.
Type of my thoughts, print it out, color, don't slip, dancing in your socks. When you read it, let me know if I'm enough. I keep keep on spitting facts, and you know that I don't bluff.
Okay, now that we cut the crease and the primer is still tacky, I'm going to take this color here, which is this bright green shade. Now that I basically packed the whole color on, I'm going to take a super tiny, what are these called? Angle brushes. And I'm going to take the color that we put on the lid, and I'm going to use this brush to really get up against that cut crease. It's a little bit easier to use an angle brush for this step than it would be for the brush that I was using. And that is that. I'm gonna go ahead and apply some wing liner, and I'll be right back. Alright, so we are back. I did quite a bit. So I did the wing liner. I only brought the wing liner about halfway into my eye because I didn't want to close off my eyes since my eyes are a little bit smaller. So if you do have smaller eyes, that's another tip. Just do the wing liner to about the pupil of the eye, and it will just kind of elongate and lift the eye a little bit. Then I went ahead and used this liner. This is by Suva Beauty in the shade Dance Party, and I did it above the black liner, and then I actually, to make the cut crease pop a little bit, and this is a really good tip, I lined the cut crease with this, and I just feel like it really makes it pop a little bit more, and also makes it look a little bit more crisp. I put the blue shades on the lower lash line, and then I just put this little butterfly, it's like a sequin that I got for nail art. So I put that, and that is pretty much it. That is how you do a really crisp cut crease on hooded smaller eyes. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video.
Dancing in your socks. When you read it, let me know if I'm enough. I keep on spitting facts, and you know that I don't bluff. Chase you, I cannot fly. 2, 3. I cannot chase you, I cannot fly. I cannot make you make up your mind.